Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way. I'm about to show you how to watercolor using rubber stamps and markers. It's quick, it's easy, it's fun, it's great for all ages. Try it. You are going to love it. Okay, to start this project, I'm going to start with our little pot. This is so versatile, and there's just a million different variations that you can use with this. So I'm going to start with the number 45 pen, which is the pen that we usually start all of our projects with. This is a sepia color that it has a little bit of green in it. It almost looks like dirt, and that's why it works so well with this project. So I'm going to stamp it on my watercolor paper, and I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to pinch off most of the water. I don't want to get too much water on this. And I'm going to just carefully go around the lines. And basically what I'm doing is just pulling the color out of the lines. And you can see that you don't want to color in the whole area. You just want to pull the color out of the lines like so. Now if I want to add color to this pot, I'm going to do it from my palette. And what I have on here is color from my palette, and I've taken the marker and just colored on here. So I have ink on the palette now. So I'm going to dip my brush and take a little bit of color off of here and just brush on a little bit of color to the pot. Just a little bit. Now if I want to embellish that some more, I can take a little bit of a darker color on the palette and dip my brush again and make a little bit of an embellishment. You don't need to add too much detail to that, just put a little bit of color on and be done. Now I'm going to add the foliage now to the pot. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of sticky note here and cover my pot so that I don't get too much ink on here, like so. Just cover it like that. I'm going to ink my grass using the number 15 marker, and I'm going to stamp this in the pot. You don't have to worry about where this is going because you're just going to add water to it and soften all the lines. So don't stress out about that. Again, I'm going to dip my brush in water, and I'm just going to add water to this. And don't worry about staying in the lines. You know, use a light hand and try to avoid this kind of repetition around in circles. Just try to brush out the strokes like this. And you can see now you have your grass inside your pot. So I'm going to put this back on here so my pot's protected. And now I'm going to go on to the flowers that are inside. This is another versatile stamp. These stamps work over and over again in so many different projects. And the more videos that you watch, the more you'll see these same stamps over and over again, but they just work so great. So I'm going to put some color on it right now. I use the Sprite. This is a number 20 magenta. I love this color. And the nice thing about inking a rubber stamp is you don't need to use the entire thing. And on this one, because I'm going to put it into this grass, I'm just going to ink the top of it. I'm going to add brush and water, and again I'm going to pinch off the water so that I don't have too much water on here. And with a light hand, I'm just going to dab this color here. You can see how that gives it that watercolor look. Okay, I can clean this off, just using a damp paper towel to clean this off. And I'm going to use a lighter color now. Go back in here with a lighter yellow. And again, I'm not inking the entire thing here. Stamping this right behind. And again, I'm going to add a little bit of water and just dampen this up. And you can see how this is starting to look like a little watercolor painting. And again, you can take your mask off and see how that's coming together. And you know, you can make it simple like that too. You don't have to add a lot of stuff into these projects. Just a few little flowers like that and some vines, and you can be easily done. But it's kind of fun to add more stuff to it and kind of build the bouquet. So I'm going to ink my vine. We have lots of different vines, lots of different foliages, and these things are all interchangeable and all versatile. They all work together so that you can use them in dozens and dozens of different ways. So again, I'm only going to ink the top of this because I don't need to necessarily use the whole thing. And I'm going to just stamp it into my pot like this. And maybe I'll move my mask over and stamp it over here. You don't need to ink it every time either. And actually it looks better if you have some light and dark areas. So again, I'm going to just dip my brush in water and soften these areas. Really small, tiny motions. You don't want to get too much water on here. Okay. Now we can add some little flowers in there. These are little wildflowers. This is another really versatile stamp. And again, I can ink one or two, or I can ink the whole thing, but I think I'm just going to use a couple of little ones here. Add a little bit of water. This is kind of like flower arranging. You can add whatever you want, and no two projects ever turn out the same. And by the way, be sure you sign these. You know, this is your own creative work, and you want to make sure you sign these little paintings. These are great framed. You can cut these out, put them on a card. They make such great gifts. And they make great wall decorations too. Okay, so now I want to add some more in here, and I think I will add something tall. This is another foliage that we have. And if you want to make sure that you're not stamping over anything, use your mask. This works great. And just stamp this in here. And then you know that your image is protected. I'm going to take my brush again. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water. You can see how this is all coming together now. And to finish this project, we can just add a little bit of grass down at the bottom, kind of cement this down to the ground. This is another stamp that I think is used in the majority of our projects. This is a great little stamp, and it works for so many different things. That stamp, and I'm just going to add water. And again, I'm not sticking to just where the ink is on the stamp. Don't be afraid to move your brush around and go outside of the lines. And there you have it. Your project's finished. Make sure you sign it. To order Art Impressions rubber stamps, instructional booklets, and watercolor accessories, visit our website, artimpressions.com, shop our store. AI stamps are available mounted on wood or unmounted on cling cushion for use with acrylic mounts.